Today's painting is inspired from my poem titled Not Alone. I went back and forth with the vision for this painting quite a bit, but I decided to go with the idea of somewhat recreating the scene from around the time when I wrote this poem. Every time I go back and read this poem, it kind of blows my mind because it reminds me how much God was working even before I fully believed in Him. Not Alone was written days before I gave my life to Christ, and at the time I was still resistant to the idea of Jesus, but I had been starting to feel myself opening up to the idea of God. It was November of 2014. My stress levels were very high as I was surviving the final weeks of the semester, navigating all the research papers, the piano pieces I desperately needed to practice, and other composition projects. All this while juggling work, a social life, and a relationship. The thing really causing me the most anguish was that last one, as I was beginning to really have to admit to myself that this nearly 4-year relationship may be coming to an end. I was feeling so lost and confused, like I'd forgotten who I was, as this relationship had become my identity, and I felt like I'd lost any sense of independence. And I was confused because I didn't know what I was supposed to do. I cared so much for this person, and they were so loving to me. How could removing them from my life be the right thing to do? And the relationship aside, I felt so overwhelmed from just the daily tasks in my life. And then within, I was a complete mess, as depression and anxiety had rule over my every thought and emotion. Every day was a struggle, like living in slow motion, just going through the routine. I was approaching a crossroads and had to really begin to ask myself, who am I and where am I going? Did I want to keep living with this dark weight I'd been carrying for as long as I could remember? Or was I willing to make the hard changes and begin to do the work to grow myself and overcome this depression? In preparation for this video, I was going through my old journals and I found these words that were written the night before this poem. Well, I've pretty much lost all independence and feel more insecure than I ever have. I'm not really sure what's going to happen from here. I have a long way to go in means of growing mentally, especially towards happiness. I hurt myself so much as a kid growing up and tormented myself for no reason. It makes me so mad now, but I can't go back and change it. But I can keep it from continuing, so that maybe my future self in 5 years can be like, now you've changed and become happy. So that's my goal, I guess. Find true happiness for myself. Learn to love myself and become confident in who I am and accepting who I was as part of me that helped lead me to this moment. I do believe there was a purpose to it all. I had to go through all those dark days so that I can truly appreciate the bright ones. The next day, after I wrote those hopeful words, I found myself sitting in front of the piano trying to practice as my mind was spinning out of control. The confidence I had to write those rousing words towards happiness the day before had all but vanished now. I was still wrestling with actually taking the steps to begin this change I was so desperate for. Letting go of the life I had known and the relationship future my boyfriend and I had been planning together was not easy. As I sat there with all these thoughts and emotions paralyzing me from doing the work at hand, I began to sense that I wasn't alone, that there was something or someone there beside me. I think I knew it was God, but part of me wasn't ready to completely go there yet. But I could tell that this presence was drawing me towards something more that I had been afraid to open myself up to, something I thought would cost me who I was and the life I wanted. But now I was beginning to be more open to letting this presence into my life. No decision was made yet, but it was a moment that began to soften my heart for what would take place in the coming days. And I'll be sharing more about that in next week's video when I share my testimony. In the midst of that experience and momentary comfort, not even realizing the significance of what I was declaring and who I was speaking to, I picked up my pencil and I wrote this poem. I'm so lost. Help me, find me. Fill my heart with strength. Fill my thoughts with courage. I'm at bended knee. I don't know who you are. I don't know what to believe, but I know you're there, surrounding me. I thought I'd come so far, only to fall again. I thought I was alone. I was wrong. Forgive my ignorance. Forgive my immaturity. I am ready for peace. Flood my soul with light. Balance my world. It has fallen into chaos. Reuniting myself with you, I fear what I'll leave behind. I'm on my way. Help me, find me. Fill my heart with strength. Fill my thoughts with courage. I'm at bended knee. For those of you who can relate to my story, my prayer for you is that you know how loved you are and that you are truly not alone. God sees you, He knows you, and He is always ready to receive you with open arms, no matter how broken you may feel. For more poems from my life before and after finding Christ, you can purchase my poetry book, Transform, at the link below. To see more creative videos that help deepen your faith and relationship with God, be sure to subscribe and check out these next. This has been KO, here with you to create eternal perspective.